Welcome back. Last week, Bob Emser was in the boathouse with Steve, getting the breast hooks in the stem and stern fit and bolted into place. And then they moved on to making the patterns and picking out the black locust for the beam shelf. So after a bit more work to get these patterns to fit properly, they'll get to work on cutting out that black locust.
So we have the pattern here for the aft section of the shelf, and if we look down it, you'll see I've got a bunch of marks. So at double D here it's 0, and at double E is +1/8, and what that is this right here. So we want the locust shelf here to come back just a little bit farther on the frame. And I'm not worried about this gap up here, which is way more than 1/8, because we haven't cut the bevel on this yet. And what I'm trying to find is not this top one here, but this bottom one. So this is out just 1/8. This one's 0. We have a 1/16. It's almost touching down there. We got a 1/4 up here. And this is all pretty rugged, but that'll all get cut off. So there'll be a shelf, and there'll be a deck beam, and everything above that'll be gone. I don't know if you can see my mark there, but there's a mark. There's another one.
I'm okay.
It's looking good.
Close. Very close. A little bit off this side. Won't be seen anyway.
No, and then there's a solid block that goes on top of here anyways.
Well, I'm just gonna get it close.
Yeah,
Let's get it a little closer than this.
of truth. All right, port side shelf is done. Well, it's not done. We gotta take it out, we gotta sand it, we gotta paint it, we gotta varnish it, we gotta drill for fasteners, and then we gotta bed and bolt it in. But the hard part's over. It is all fit, it looks gorgeous. I am very, very happy. And starboard isn't far behind. I think we've got just 2 pieces, I think, left to fit for that. So hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, the shelf will be totally done. It's gonna be cool. Then it's on the deck beams. Woohoo! Shelf is now dry fit. That is good. It's not quite as far as I thought we were going to get, but I never get as far as I think we're going to get.
Well, and you, I think originally thought maybe 3 boards for the whole sweep, and we ended up with 5 each side.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. You look at the boat, and it really doesn't look like there's that much shape, but you start making the individual pieces, and
Yeah.
there's no edge setting these, so they're all sawn out.
Right. Well, I mean, this piece is 5.5 inches, and it took a 12-inch board to get it out of there. So, and that's the shortest one. So,
Yeah.
it's looking good.
All right, next we got to figure out a few deck beams, and then I'm gonna have my work cut out for me going through and bolting these all in and cleaning them all up. I think that's gonna be like,
Oh, you got.
it's gonna be like a week just
At
getting
least,
these all prepped
yeah.
and installed.
So if you think a week, probably 2.
Hope not. So today's Bob's last day here. I gotta bring him to the airport in a few hours, but we're trying to get some work done before he leaves. So he's finishing up the shelf right now. He's got one final little piece to fit, and that'll be all dry fit. And I've been working on wrapping my head around deck beams and what we should tackle for that. So we brought the plans upstairs, so I don't have to keep running downstairs to look at them. And I went over the little bit of literature that Acorn gives us. So as we go through the deck beams, we can see them here on the plans. And there's a deck beam for every frame. And there's a bunch of openings. So we have the hatch, we've got the house top, we've got the cockpit, and the aft hatch. So anywhere you have a hatch, there needs to be a header. So the deck beams go in, and then another kind of partial beam goes in and gets attached to it. And that helps back up where these carlins for the hatch are going to attach to it. Same thing for the fore and aft end of the house top, the cockpit, and the aft hatch. There's also doublings, which are doubled up deck beams. So the deck beams are 2 inches wide by 2.5 deep. And where Atkins specs doublings, there are 2 of those bolted together. And those are in the way of the masts and the main sheet traveler that's going to go in the house top. But we'll get to those down the road when we have a house top. So right now, Bob and I are gonna go pull the patterns out of the boat for the deck beams and go find some locusts, and we're gonna try to find the fore and aft ends of the forward hatch, the fore and aft ends of the housetop, and the cockpit, and we're gonna ignore the aft hatch for now. And previously we picked out some curved stock and got it knocked up a bit, and we're gonna use those for where we have to put in the headers. So the heading stock is found, we just gotta go find the deck beams themselves, and then we'll be ready to get some deck beams cut out, which will be really cool. Morning.
How are you?
Good, and yourself?
Good, thank you. I'm really happy it's cooled down a little bit.
Oh, amen to that.
I'm done with summer. I'm ready for winter.
Yeah, I don't know about winter, but definitely fall.
Yeah, okay, I'm with that.
All right, throw these little ones down in the drink maybe. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So these are the molds that we're looking for. So for the forward hatch, we're gonna use the H mold. We need 2 of them. And then for the house, the forward end is gonna be the L mold, the aft end, the Z mold. And for the cockpit, it'll be the Z mold and the FF mold. And if we look here, my finger has grown out. So this is where I got it with the pulse saw a while back. That was cut way back here. And the last little bit fell off last night. It's a little tender, but not bad. It'll look sort of normal pretty soon. All right, so we got to go find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of locust, which should not be terribly difficult.
Look at that.
Yep. That's
That
got
was-
that written all
That was
over it.
made for it.
Maybe.
I think so, Steve. Jesus. That's amazing.
Some good curved deck beam stock. It's not going to have much grain run out.
Not at all. Should flip it over.
The other side look kinky.
Well, I think Mark's on 10 That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, I don't think so. We'll get shorter ones out of it. Oh, that side looks pretty good.
Prettier on that side, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's flip it back, see if we can work around. Warmer today, huh?
Yep. That's the one right there. All right, that's it for me.
Got all your
Here.
tools?
I got all my tools.
Feel free to leave what you don't want.
Yeah, right. Well, my tools don't compare to your tools at this point. These are carry-on tools.
Carry-on tools.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's been a good couple of weeks.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. It was a
Yeah.
big help.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, anyway, I got a plane to catch. I got a wife and a boat to meet. In
Yeah.
that order.
In that order.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah, thanks,
See you soon.
Bob. See
Bye.
you soon. Alright. So, if you haven't checked out Bob's channel, The Art of Boat Building, you should go check it out. Currently, he's working on a Haven 12.5, which is a pretty cool boat. He's almost to the point of cocking. And Bob also is quite the tool maker. So if you go check out his videos, be expecting to see a whole bunch of custom-made tools. And we're here in the Arabella shop. We kind of make an ugly tool that works and get back to work. Bob like really takes the time and makes them beautiful. It's worth a watch. So go check him out. Thank you so much, Bob, for all the help. I definitely would not have gotten the shelf all dry fit without you. I mean, I'd still be working on it. I would get it done, but it went a lot faster. Bob fit about half of the pieces, and I fit the other half. So I went through and cleaned up the shelf a little bit, did some little fine-tuning on the fits, and got that all taken out of the boat and sanded, and it's upstairs right now with its first coat of sealer on it. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the clamp. And the shelf's going to get the 2 coats of sealer and then a couple coats of varnish, and then we'll put it in the boat. So in the meantime, while I'm applying finish and waiting for finishes to dry so that I can put the next coat on, I'm going to start cutting out the deck beams here. And these are going to be the principal deck beams. So these are going to frame in the forward hatch, the house top, and the cockpit. And these are all going to have headers put on them, and we'll get to headers later. But I'm going to get these prepared so that when it's time to put the shelf in, these can follow immediately behind them. Randy, who we haven't seen in a while, should be by tomorrow. He's going to give me a hand wrestling all these through the thickness planer and getting them upstairs in the boathouse. And then Thad, who we also haven't seen in a little while, is going to stop by on Thursday, and he's going to help me get a bunch of these deck beams made up. He called the other day and seemed pretty psyched to come and help me do deck beams. So I think that'll be a good time. So yeah, I'm going to fire up the skill saw, grab some patterns, make some noise, and see if we can get a few deck beams cut out. So if we go through and cut them to rough width and then bring them down to thickness and cut them to final width, we can let some of this tension come out and we will end up with them moving less at the very end, which is what we want. So I'm gonna add this to the scrap pile and cut the other side out and keep on motoring through these.
Next week, we'll pick up right here with Steve working on getting the deck beams cut into shape. And once the finished coats are applied and dried, we'll start the install of the beam shelf. Thanks as always for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.